You really want to do this, do you?
I don't mind.
Okay. Lining problems, simply lack of match-up, and there's some noise at the head. This is what I've seen at 2 generations, one with bad sound. So I'm looking at it like like this, you know, because there's 3 spots in it that look like they won't transmit. So I'm giving it the... We may have to go in on 3 more shots here.
Wow. So did you direct it as well?
There was a director who shot 180 minutes. And this is 3 minutes and 40 seconds. He had a concept which was very expansive. I had a concept which was very simple. He allowed me to edit it so that I managed to pull my concept out of his. I mean, we had 4 different videos. We could have sliced it 4 different ways. To me, some things wouldn't intercut. To him, initially, why not? But there's, like, for instance, in the first half hour, there was performance on the road. This was the very beginning. To me, it's like a screen test. A lot of shoulder shaking, very, you know, attitude and dance. And you could do it that way. But the way I always saw it was more like a movie, where it's more like a soliloquy, separating it from the music. So although it's sung, it looks like a talking head speaking instead of a talking head singing. So you're going for cinematic performance, method acting, motion, as opposed to wider shot, silent movie gestural acting. So there's like, you know, 180 minutes to 340, you've got to really get kind of hard nosed. So what I did was I stuck pretty much to the intimacy of the lead vocal with close-ups and illustrated a little. I tried to tell the story as best as possible. So it's kind of on me in a way, like. But are
you happy with it aside from the technical?
Yeah, we all are happy with it. I mean, there are certain things, because in my own photography I'm like into 2 worlds. Well, the album art, you know, like 2 images occupying the same thing. So a dissolve is more than a dissolve to me, you know. It's like, and also like a second in video is bigger than a second in is smaller than a second in music, really. You know, I mean, music, like let's say a second is 30 frames in video. A bar in music could be 21 frames, and you can play 30-second notes in a bar. So you can get into finer division in music than you can in a second of video. So I'm used to working in small measures, you know, like in cross dissolves and everything. And the way I edit is really unorthodox. I put my hard cuts in last, you know, all the dissolves. The music has got a lot of to it, so you put all that in first, and then you come back and put the bright beats in. Well, that's considered kind of generally a loss of perspective. No, you don't do it that way. You put your hard cuts in first, and then, you know, like in dissolves, people don't even look at them as artistic. They look at them as kind of a last resort. When in doubt, dissolve. If you can't find a good cut, you know. So it takes a while to get. But anyway, in spite of all those differences and the humps you have to get over, like, she's lost her marbles. No, you can't do it that way, you know. Like, we finally came up with something we all like. But in the process, we had some online technical problems, and that's what I want to be sure, because the picture right at the beginning had a lot of noise. And we also had number problems right at the same spot. So my question is, yikes, do we have to relay this or what? So what do we do?
Right.
It's coming in late.
Yeah.
For the next 60 years.
Okay.
Come on.
I don't want to take it too far.
Cool.
least they tested tones. Because we had sound, that copy that I took home last night was
Yeah, the sound.
sibilant and boomy. It was like awful, so they must have done that today. Oh no, it's still
We
there.
must be almost there.
We've got to be, yeah, now we're there.
Come along. It's kind of the Barnett Newman. Okay, here we go. Give me some sound. You see the noise? That's not good, is it, on first generation? Second generation.
Back in 1957, we had to dance a foot apart.
It's okay there.
And they hawk at us from the sidelines, holding their rulers without a heart. And so with just a touch of our fingers, I could make our circuitry explode. All we ever wanted was just to come in from the cold. Coming from the cold. Please come in. Coming from the cold. I feel your legs under the table, leaning into mine. I feel renewed. I feel disabled by these bonfires in my spine. I don't know who the arsonist was, which incendiary coming from the cold. Coming from the cold. Please come in, coming from the cold. I am not some stone commission like a statue in a park. I am flesh and blood and vision. I am
Too
The
hot.
colors in his monitor are really
Are they?
perfect.
all they ever wanted was just to come in from the cold. Coming from the cold. Please come in. Coming from the cold.
That's beautiful.
I just hope it's, you know.
You did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
It really looks great.
Thank you.
I really love
Isn't
it.
that, the sepia,
Yeah.
isn't
Colors
that
good, the
beautiful?
sepia is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really
And
good.
just like when the color dials in, it's like this warmth that comes in. And
Fade it like up like a crossfade in the. But see, we ran into technical trouble there too because we did it on the offline. Everything was fine. You get to the last scene where you've got the shots came from color because we did 4 takes in close up, right? The first 2 got screwed in the printing bath. The printer printed, like, the bath for the film was too dark, so it was unusable. And I was grateful. I thought, everybody was sweating. I'm saying, don't worry, with 180 minutes. Anything that dies is good news, you know. So then the color comes up at the end, and it was fine. So we made our black and white out of it. We have it on 2 rolls, color and black and white. So you have these long stretches of close-up, the American tension span being altered down to zip, you know. Like, so you dial the color up in through it. Well, when we got to the last shot, something had happened where, as you brought the color up through, the whole head went out of focus. Didn't do that on offline. Like, so online it should be looking better, but it's looking worse. So when you examine it, they find out that the color and the black and white, the color head is slightly smaller than the, God knows why technically, in the transfer. As it gets towards the end, the head shrinks, right? The psychiatrist gets a hold of the head in the middle. And now when you go to like bring it through, all the edges blur. Instead of it being 2 identical shots coming through itself, one in color and one in black and white, the color one's smaller. So all the edges of the face all like go out of focus. So I don't know. There were a lot of things that happened. I don't know how they happened.
Now that blue meant it was too hot.
That, when it starts breaking up into blue, hot pink, it's too hot.
Could be in this monitor too.
Let's hope, because I'm gonna put it in.
Because I'll tell you, people
It's
come
out of
in
my
and
hands
change
now, I mean.
this thing all the time.
But the bouncing, that like at the beginning, the noise, like that doesn't bother you. You just see the picture and see the story,
yeah, it
right?
doesn't bother me at all.
Excellent. And then I'm
Really
I'm ready to be interviewed, because I hate going into an interview worried, you know.
No, it's beautiful. The shots outside on that road are incredible.
Aren't they?
Well,
That's the first.
really.
See, we've got hours of that. You could
So
do a whole
wonderful.
video there, you know, like, but it's a whole different attitude, you know. It's more dancey and stuff.
Well, you said we used to dance five feet
foot apart.
Yeah, you guys are on. That's great.
That's great.
They did. They used to measure you in 57, like at the school dances. Like,
Don't want to get too close.
yeah, they wouldn't, you know, because like at public dances, you know, everybody be grabbing ass, you know. But school dances, they actually stood there with a ruler, and you had to, you know, they were still of the waltz mentality, da-da, dignified and so on. And when the twist came out, people, I mean, it didn't take much to be shocking in the 50s, you know.
Maybe that was better.
I think in a way it was
Because
an
now
innocent
there's
time.
nothing.
There's nothing, you know. What's Madonna going to do? A beaver shot and then what?
Isn't that interesting?
Thank you, Robin. That's true.
It's not.
Oh, talk.
So what's next on this
This is
busy
like being-
schedule?
We're
Because I
doing
saw
an
Neil
interview now.
Preston is set up out there for
We're
you.
doing
This is
now
like
that
that
we're
Loud
doing this.
family thing.
Oh, God.
You want me to leave?
Last loud.
Just show Joni the colors.
Joni,
Joni,
this
this
is
is Lori, who's been doing the post.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's
it's very
right,
nice
that's
to meet
you.
you.
You know,
You
You know,
saw
I
the
may
color
be-
for the snipe.
yeah, and I may be wrong. I just, violets is my like least favorite color. It's really nice with that blue-gray that you had. I picked. See, the broadcastable, because for that means that looks worse than 4th generation offline, and that's our major. You know, they might find they should really get realistic and look at it.
Okay. We have to do a couple still shots here on the way.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next.
Fast, a couple of them quick.
Whole assembly line here.
Oh, we're doing a photo mode, right?
Yeah, photo mode. That's it. Still mode.
It's
Got a
called
lovely
budgeting your
Art
time
Deco
wisely.
balcony for you.
Okay. Let me put this here. That one in the way, right?
That's fine. Basically, all I need is. You want here? I got an ashtray.
Where's she gonna be? Right.
Yeah, in that area. Lyle, can you bring that ashtray over?
So I'm
Yeah,
Down here?
one shot here. One right.
yeah. Well, even here it was. Only there was it. Where else? It's like voyeurism, so weird.
Yeah.
Voyeurism worse. Weirder than the one before.
Yeah. Very. Oop. Don't know if I went too good on the BBC there. Okay, let's see what we got. Just bring your head out a little more this way. So, yeah, there you go. And one more. There we go. Whoops. Okay. Let me reshoot that one. Yeah, good. The longest 60-second shot in your house that day. Just like while we're waiting. I want to see those.
Oh, right.
Remember when you were dancing around the control room?
Yeah. Did you use them for anything?
Yeah, I was using the times, yeah.
Oh, it was. I never saw that piece.
I just thought I'd bring them, and if there was anything you wanted, I'd make you some prints. So.
Great. I don't have a loop.
You don't have
here.
a loop. Well.
Maybe they got one though somewhere.
Yeah, Bryn's got one. When we go next door.
Grab cool.
This is old Polaroid. Oh.
16:3.
All right, well, we'll shoot at 16. Bring these guys along everywhere you go here.
Yeah. It's my entourage.
Okay, that's good. Okay, and it's yeah, that's good with your head that way is good. And that's good. Hold that. And head this way.
I'm gonna favor this side if you don't mind. Okay.
Okay. No problem. Glad you told me.
Yeah.
Everyone's got the. Hold that.
Yeah, I got a.
Yeah, it's only 12 exposures on.
Oh, okay. Just some.
Can we do some with your hands kind of spread out? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's it. Try.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not getting it, so don't.
Okay, let me try.
Anything you want to do with that is fine.
Am I in your perimeter?
I like when you were leaning into me before. Yeah, there you go. That's good. Here we go a little tighter.
It's just a couple of people, but if a lot of people are there,
I don't see how that helps.
video shoot there. It just took the crew, like, you know what I mean? It's a building that it's not lonely if it's two people rattling around in it like some big houses.
That studio.
But when a lot of people are there, it's just so happy. You know what I mean? It's like.
The studio's got such a great vibe in it. It really does. Can you bring your other hand up too? Is that?
See, that was the bedroom. As a bedroom, that thing is.
No, to try it on the.
Oh, you know, like. It's much better as a studio.
At the end. Okay, almost done here. Slide. Give it 35. Here. What's
Okay. What was I going to say? Just an astonishing range of people cite you as a big influence on them. Prince and the Replacements, the guy in England we just interviewed last week, Seal, an R&B singer. I wondered if that surprised you, and I also wanted to ask you about a remark Prince said, where specifically he learned how to use color from listening to your songs. You know, what color means to you?
Well, you see, my harmony, because they open tunings, I have 50 different tunings. I don't play in standard tuning on the guitar. The reason that I chose that, because the harmony that I hear in my head, which it comes out on the piano, I don't have a very facile left hand. So to simplify my left hand, I changed into these tunings. Now the joke all through the 60s was, if I was over at somebody's house and I picked up their guitar, of course I'd throw it into a tuning, they'd pick it up after me and they'd go, the Martians have been here, or, you know, oh, Joni's weird tunings. The harmony was not enjoyable to a lot of people. It was strange to a lot of people. To me, it was a diagram of my emotions, which were complex. The times were complex. You know, just think of it, the Cold War with the threat of atomic bomb. That's a dissonant drone. To me, that's, you have a nice day, but the bomb's hanging over you. You put a major chord, which means nice day, but you put a dissonance, a second note running through it. That means the bomb is hanging over us. You know, so none of my emotions were purely simple. They were all, my life has been led against a backdrop of impending disaster, which I wake up and go to sleep with it every night. Doomsday Joan, they call me. So this enters into my sense of harmony, which people mistakenly, rock and rollers couldn't play those chords. And jazzers, who I had to turn to play, these are not jazz chords either. So if a jazzer lays a chord over it, he's already changed the harmony a little bit. When people say my music is jazz, I made one jazz record that was with Mingus. Mingus's music is jazz, but my harmony, any jazzer will tell you, is not. Like Wayne Shorter would say, well, these are not piano chords and these are not guitar chords. What are these chords? That's what he said on Ethiopia, which is, and then, you know, so the harmony, like a painter, when you juxtapose color against color, if you use colors of the same value, you create a vibration. You do the same thing when you get, that's 60 psychedelic poster art. If you run a second through your music, you get the same thing. When I was in art school, I said, never use colors of the same value beside each other because they'll cause a vibration. Wow. 2 years later, San Francisco poster art came out. My dissonances are the audio equivalent. They're irritating to people, you know, and they mean an irritant running through a sunny day. So Prince was very young when he got his Sing of Summer Lawns. He was open-mindedly young. And where that was chronologically time for most of my peer group to go off of me because they loved the record before, which set up expectations. In most Americans' mind, that record failed. But in English, where England, and in Prince here in America, in England with young artists coming out of art school, Thomas Dolby, who was able to hear that record with an open mind, there were some. My female audience here suddenly thought I was taking pot shots at them because I started saying you a lot instead of I a lot, which gave them an out. Oh, she's talking about herself. Oh, she isn't talking about herself. Then she must be talking about us. Ah, I don't like the portrait. She's a bitch. You know, so, you know, there was all kind of complications in the reception in this culture of the hissing of summer lawns. It got complicated. Not so much in England, where, like I say, in Prince. Now, if he got his colors from there, we're talking about fairly new harmonic ideas, which aren't jazz, but are wide open chords like jazz, but they don't belong to the idiomatic. You know, I have a friend who played with me sometimes who literally wrote the book on jazz harmony, and he was playing on, what was the name of the song? Betsy's Blue, Moon at the Window. And he was getting madder and madder and madder. And finally I stopped the tape and I said to him, Victor, what's wrong? You know, don't you like the words? I hate the harmony, he said. My girlfriend Debbie, I hate the harmony. So many people, I hate the harmony. Well, either you like it or you don't. These strange chords, if they don't match, if they match you emotionally, they're a relief because they depict your feelings. If they don't, or if it's change you're on the brink of it and don't want to go through, you'll hate them, you know. Mm-hmm. So.
This will be the last question. I read an interview with the director, Rob Reiner, where he said, you know, people think it gets easier once you've been successful, but that he actually thinks it's much harder because when you're just struggling to get ahead, nobody has anything to compare you against. But once you've had a measure of success, there's always the pressure, from everybody else at least, to match up to what you've done in the past. Do you think that's true? Have you felt
well,
that?
two things. First, the best quote on that I heard was Sophia Loren, who said, hard enough to catch the tiger, harder still to ride it. You know. See, I don't compete against anyone, and I don't compete against myself either. I mean, in a way, my standards keep growing, so I have an external thing that I'm trying to reach. And while criticism can disturb me enough, you know, to give me a bad day or something, especially because so much of it is so ignorant, you want to call them up and say, you know, you don't know how out on a limb and how wrong you are. You know, you want to educate them, but you can't because they're attached to it, and I've tried doing that. It fails miserably. The hardest thing to educate people to is a quality of human nature. Supposing you had a great date, you had a great, wonderful, oh, what a wonderful girl, you tell all your friends, and now on this coming Friday you got another one coming up. Oh, you can hardly wait, you know, like you just, well, when you get there, it could even be better than your first date, but you'll experience that as less because your expectations have so developed in the process. Well, this is what happens psychologically. Like, this album looks like people are going to love it. They're going to hate my next one, you know, or they're not going to like it as much because an expectation will be set up. So the best thing that I can do with my next one, knowing this pattern, watch it throw me a curve now, this is the pattern I've experienced. I'm open to an exception, but probably I will make quite an experimental next album. It's a good time to stretch out. It's a good time to stretch out. You know, knowing that. They're going. I've seen it happen with Asia and Gaucho. You could probably reverse those two albums. Gaucho was such a good album, was so undervalued. You know, probably because the one before was so loved. You know, the criticisms of Gaucho were paltry compared to what it was. That somebody could make 2 records in a row that strong, that complete, that, you know, 2 good albums, not just 2 good collections of songs, not even just 2 pieces with a couple of good songs, you know. So I've seen it happen to other people as well as mine, you know, my projects. We just live in a society that has gotten out of hand on the newness factor. You know, like, it just keeps getting ahead of itself, you know. Get tired of a person's name, or get tired of a person's look, and stop seeing him. Stop seeing that Michael Jackson is a brilliant dancer. Stop seeing his moves. Whoa! You know, like, even if he keeps progressing, you know, like, you know, every generation has to be more shocking than the next, but I think we should start going the other way. Let's, like, get rid of a little shock, you know, like, you know, like, get a little heart back in the culture. You know, I hate to sound like Bush, kind of gentler culture, you know, but it wasn't a bad idea. You know, I mean, I think that we've lost the 80s. That intelligence is missing a piece without the business can be friendly. I've found out that it's unbelievable how pleasant this project is going. You know, the company is pleasant, everybody's pleasant. It's so much nicer way to do business. Revs, I think everybody feels better, you know. I don't know. It just seems like a good experimental time on relationship, the 90s, because we went too far one way in the 80s. It was like, you know, it was too lonely a route. There's hard times coming. People got to, you know, strengthen themselves and their compassion, because we've got hard times coming.
Okay. It's a good place to stop. Thanks. Can we get the guitar?
Yeah. 1 second. Let me just find 4 little pieces of music for you. I'll show you like little pieces of it.
Okay.
Okay, this is.
Okay.
So most of this album is in this tuning, which is, for guitar players watching, let's see, it's 7/7, 2, I think it's 3, 3, 5, 7/7/2/3/5 with a drop, with a C on the bottom. So it's mostly like a C major chord. As a result, the songs have got a kind of a optimistic modality to it. And
how do you undercut that? How do you work against that optimism on the guitar?
well, hear that chord? Minor, inquiry, inquiry. So you've got major and a minor and a doubt. There's always what I call inquiry notes in the voicing. Ominous, inquiry, doubt, possibility, resolution. So that's a complex emotion, isn't it? You know, back to a pure, uncomplicated emotion, uncomplicated, joyous, positive, happy. Well, that's pretty much a minor with an inversion, but this one's... Now, I don't know the name, maybe that's a sus, or I don't know, like, the letter alphabet names of all this stuff, but so I identify it more by how the chord feels. Coming from the cold is, let's see, how does that go? Try to find another one. Oh yeah, Cherokee Louise. Whoops. The first one?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Let me just tune up a little better. Okay. Yeah, this is an early Steve Klein. He made it. It's got a number real small on it, and all of this is personalized. It's got this is the hexagram from the I Ching for the Wanderer. This is Stranger in a Strange Land. That's where that concept comes from. And these are all the trigrams of the I Ching. All 8 of them, each representing the father, the mother, the 3 sons, and the 3 daughters. Which in combination create all the 64 changes divided into 6, which you can possibly go through in a lifetime. And then the rest of this is kind of personal, is my serpent and my eagle, the high and low nature of the Scorpio. And then this is the provincial flower of Saskatchewan, where I come from. He did a beautiful job.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Great.
Great. Thank you.